Welcome to the What the Flick review of The Walking Dead, Episode 5, Season 4, Internment. Ooh. The story of two tough bitches, as Daryl says, and another view on what it means to survive. Mm-hmm. What did you guys think?
I think it was a nice counterpoint to the last episode. Last episode obviously focused on two different groups that were far away from the prison, each isolated from the larger group. But here they're back at their supposed home, but they're isolated from most of the group, which is still out. Mm-hmm. Because this is happening sort of overlapping with the last episode to some extent.
I felt like the episode should have started with Ted Knight saying, like, meanwhile, back at the prison.
Yeah. And yeah, still two groups. You had the people who are still allowed to walk the grounds and the people who were interned, so to speak.
Well, they were sitting on their literal death row. And this was very much the story of Hershel, who I think serves as a counterpoint to Carol's point of view. Mm-hmm. Neither of them is fully right, as we've learned. Like Carol's idea could have saved them, it didn't. Mm-hmm. Herschel's ideas could have killed them, it didn't. Mm-hmm. So is there a middle ground between Herschel's more hope and spiritual side and Carol's more, I would say, ruthless, realistic-ish, heartless, cold approach. So it seems like you need a little bit of both to make it work.
I think probably. I guess what they're trying to set up is that Rick is supposed to strike that balance. He's been out of power for a while, mm-hmm. and we've seen a couple of different ideas of how you can lead the group. None of them has really worked, or at least the way that they've worked has led to multiple casualties. And if he's going to reascend to power, he has to learn to meld those styles.
Well, yeah, didn't Maggie tell him you've been on break, but that's you were lucky and you get to come back now. Mm-hmm. I feel like this season has focused a lot on coming back or what you can come back from. They at least say it a lot.
Like alcoholism.
Well, it's like who you were, who you are now. Mm-hmm. So we see like this is a very Herschel heavy episode. So we see him going back to his spiritual side. He pulls out the Bible. He covers up walkers before he knifes them. He doesn't want people to see him knife them. And he has that line, oh, what is it? A sad soul kills faster than a germ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that, I'm sure. And it seems weird to risk carting the bodies out when they could just spring up and bite you at any time.
Yeah.
But I think that there was something to it. I think that those people were watching. They came out and you saw the look on their face when they saw a corpse. Mm-hmm. I mean, even with all the death they've been surrounded by.
I think so, because literally every single one of them has seen many corpses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but through violence. Like here, like they're being tended to. People are trying to help them and they're still dying. I think that when you've already lost almost all of your hope, that can take out the last little shred of it.
Mm-hmm. And that's mostly what Herschel was going through in this episode. I felt pretty transformative for him. He started off, with the Bible, talking to Caleb. Was that the other doctor's name?
Yes.
Yeah, the other doctor's name. Trying to stay positive when Caleb wanted to just give up. Here's the shotgun. And then as Herschel, piles all the weight of all the sadness and hopelessness of all these people that he's tending to on top of himself, it comes to a boiling point, and he has to pick up that shotgun and essentially get stuff done. Yeah. And then at the very end, when he's in Caleb's cell, he picks up the Bible, and it's not the same.
He breaks down crying.
Bursts into tears.
Yeah. He finds the shotgun more consoling than the Bible.
Well, it doesn't have the same effect for him now. He can't only turn to the Bible. That doesn't just work anymore.
Or, I mean, that's definitely how I read it. It is possible that he's consoling himself with the Bible and crying, and they're not directly related. I mean, It could be that this is all he's got. It's taken so much out of him. Because everybody made the point throughout the episode, you look so tired, you've been working too hard. And so maybe he is going to become more religious again.
Well, he served as that beacon the whole time. I think Rick had said, they all look to you, and he said, you have to believe there's something still there. Mm-hmm. There's something to fight for.
Yeah.
Even in the first scene, we see him and Glenn and Maggie and the man that they're pumping his lungs, and they say, how long do we have to do this? And they'll say, we just have to. How long will he live? And it's he lives as long as we do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's he lives as long as we literally pump his lungs full of air. And I knew when they said that he's going to die, he's going to be such a nightmare for them, Mm-hmm. No, but he still did it.
They've been doing, one of the great things they've done this season is taking walkers, putting them in interesting situations, different settings and stuff. And here you have a walker who has something very valuable on his body, which we haven't seen before, where it's you want to kill him, but oh shit, you don't want to hit the bag.
Puncture it.
Which led, I don't want to jump around too much, obviously, and I know you're leading, But that was one of the most interesting moments of the episode, was Maggie being forced to, in some ways, make a choice between the two men she loves, her father and the man that she could very well marry at some point.
I thought that would have been an excellent death for Glenn.
No.
Yes, I thought that would be perfect.
If she had shot the bag?
If she had shot the bag and then
Yeah.
she's responsible, we lose a major
rough.
character, which is always good and heart-wrenching. Oh,
Not him, though.
I
Glenn.
wanted it so bad. At that moment, I was like, yes, do something
So
bold.
is it a cop-out that she was accurate?
I mean, sort of. This episode was the purging of the red shirts. Everyone who didn't have a name we didn't care about, they all died.
Yeah.
And then the people that matter, the one that Rick inquired about when he comes back, and is Hershel okay? Is Glenn okay? You know, they're all still alive, and we get to see them another day.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true. We also did get to look at Rick and letting Carl grow up. Did you notice the father-son bonding music?
Yeah.
When he was just like, I gotta do it. I gotta let you do it. And even though, but I gotta protect you too.
And then they became the Bash Brothers together, taking out what seemed like way too many zombies, okay?
It seemed like they wouldn't be able to
If
get
they
all
wouldn't
of them.
get overrun by all those, how did the military ever lose? The point is you're there and you're shooting, but there's too many. It doesn't matter if you have a machine gun, there's just too many. But the kid who'd never held a machine gun before,
Well, Rick gave him a great crash course.
that is true.
Yeah.
Make sure it clicks. No problem, Dad.
Then he throws clips to Rick.
He's
So
a
good.
badass. No, in the next BioShock, he should be your companion.
Yeah.
Carl, with a machine gun though. But that was a good scene. You wanted to see a lot of zombies get shot, and it was significant that finally
We
the fence
haven't
goes down.
seen that many walkers get killed in an episode in a long time. So this was an exciting episode on top of the who gets to survive juxtaposition. We also in this episode, Rick finally revealed what Carol had done and what he had decided to do to her.
To a few people.
Just to Maggie.
to
I
the
can't
important
wait
people.
until
To the council.
Daryl finds out, because he will be so upset. That was
Daryl
his
and
bestie.
Tyrese will be upset.
Yeah.
Because he protected Carol by sending her away, but has he protected himself? Tyrese is going to want his vengeance, and Rick denied
As
him it.
we've seen, Rick can handle Tyrese in a fight for some reason.
I don't buy that. I buy shooting all those zombies in the head more than I buy him beating Tyrese in a fight. But yeah, so we have that leading up for the next episode. We also have, he's so clear, he's like, I'll get to Daryl eventually. And so, quick predictions, I guess. Do you think Daryl's going to go out for her?
Go out for Carol?
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, I think Daryl has some sense, and I think he knows that Carol can handle herself. I've wondered though, in the opening scene of this, did we saw the dogs like gnawing at the zombie,
On the
and
road.
he's like crying for help. Rick doesn't help him. That's like kind of a parallel to the situation he sort of left Carol in. Like, I'm going to throw you out. I'm not going to help you. Are we to presume that's her fate?
Maybe. I mean, someone pointed out that her name is still in the credits in this episode, which it could be just a contract thing that your name goes in the credits for the whole season. But also, apparently, in some interviews, she's said things that lead people to believe she'll come back. And that's what they've done in every case. When a character goes away and you don't see them die, unless Daryl goes and finds his brother, you eventually catch up to them again.
That's an old trope.
Like that prisoner that he locked out.
The prisoner, Merle the first time, the governor, which
Yeah.
we'll get to, like they do eventually come back. You only get to die on screen unless you're a hitchhiker.
That's the rule for most things.
I think Daryl will go after Carol, because I think the writers sort of use him as like this Deus Ex Machina, like I can kill any zombie and defend
Yeah.
us from anything. So it makes the scene more dramatic when he's not around to help out.
Yeah,
so I
they do
think
feel more threatened.
with the governor looming, something's going to go down at the prison, and Daryl's not going to be there for it.
Yeah, and possibly, well, I mean, I guess Michonne would have to be here, but she's also a similar role. Like when she's around, you're safe.
Why did
For the most
Hershel
part.
go with Michonne?
Because he's a badass now.
He's
said,
one
"Hell
tough son
yeah."
of a bitch.
He can totally defend himself, sort of.
Speaking of, go ahead.
Just really, really fast, in terms of we talked about the badass move of the show, I think, was Maggie.
Yeah.
Just running in, zombie gets on her, whatever, right in the chin. She didn't even stop to care about it. Like that was pretty bad. She doesn't get enough credit, I think.
I was so happy she did that. I was just like, Maggie, break the glass. And I think Hershel says, I didn't want you in here. And she says, I know, I had to.
Yeah.
So that's
Strong woman.
good on you, Maggie.
Yeah.
You get it, girl. So,
Once he gets healthy, she'll get it.
yeah. Well, I'm so glad he didn't die. I've been worried for Glenn this whole time. But on the subject of tough some bitches, we saw one tough some bitch return at the very, very, very end. What does the future hold with him?
Less interesting episodes.
Agreed.
Because he's going to be back in the storyline. I was good with him just being gone. I mean, maybe he'll be dealt with quickly. He's just not that interesting anymore. He's just a psycho now. He's moral.
He's lost it. He's completely over the deep end. Yeah. Everything that he's going to do is, I don't feel that like he'll be as cold and calculating and manipulative anymore.
He's too crazy.
Yeah, he's just got fire in his eyes.
Who might or might not still have his allies.
Has he been lingering there, you think, or did he just show up now? Has he been the one maybe pushing rats through the fence?
That's a good point.
Or luring people over? What do you think?
I would not be surprised to find out now that he was the one leading them in there. Could possibly be in some way involved in the infection spreading to the zombies. I don't know how, but it's possible. And the fact that after so much time the zombies started gathering up and pushing through, that seems like the work of the governor. I don't know how he's surviving out there with his one eye, but...
Well, I think with his return, this will start to be the beginning of the end of our time in the prison. I think he's going to usher them out somehow.
By allowing tons of zombies in, you think it's just going to become uninhabitable?
I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I think he's going to ruin everything.
Well,
Just the feeling it gives me.
We still have the message over the radio. At some point, maybe that's the second half of the season or something, trying to track that down, getting past that crowd of walkers. I think that the remainder of this, hopefully half season, will be dealing with the governor, killing him finally. Let Michonne chop his head off or something, and then we can move on to greener pastures or just other pastures.
Now, do we think this is the conclusion of the pestilence storyline? Now that we've gotten the medicine from the vet, like no more sickness?
Getting more stable, that they're back with the medicine. I think we're finally over the disease.
Which is good, because usually they would spread that out over the course of the whole season, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's like a season 2 and 3 thing that would.
Yeah, I mean, they have the medicine now, and it already seems like some people weren't getting sick. The fact that Hershel never got sick from it. I'm sure Daryl will cough a few times in the next episode.
How often Daryl put his hands in his mouth and how he never got sick. He has like an oral fixation or something, or maybe he's been eating germs his whole life.
He's a dirty guy. Yeah, all the STDs in his body just eat up any other foreign matter, I guess.
I don't know if they're STDs.
He seems pretty
dirty. But
he
seems pretty filthy.
Speaking of filthy, though, one of the weirdest, most creepy parts of this last episode was. I know you already know what I'm thinking of. So the little girl Lizzie, she gets the zombie to follow her, which in that case I didn't read that as her thinking it'd be a pet. I think she was just trying to protect Daryl. But then she goes back all the way over to Psycho when she's like moving her foot around in the blood and mucus. That was a weird shot.
She's a weird little girl.
Oh, that made me uncomfortable.
She was calling it like a dog, wasn't she? Like, here, boy.
She was, but I don't think she was doing it because she wanted him as a pet. I think she was legitimately trying to get him away.
Do you think she thinks of them as pets?
She's not as afraid of them as everyone else is. Yeah. She's not as afraid of lots of stuff.
When she tripped, she became naturally afraid.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right when the zombie's about to bite you. Yeah.
Well, that also opens up something that's kind of interesting. Is Hershel remember before in the past how he seemed to think you could come back from being a walker, and in this one he kind of he humanized them a little bit by covering up their faces before he knifed them. And it makes me wonder if they're going to explore that further, if you can come back from being a walker, if there's something more to the walkers that we don't understand yet.
Maybe you can in some cases, but man, there are some chewed up, decayed walkers out there. I hope you can't come back from some of that.
No, I'd want to be.
That dog one on the side of the road, his torso is shred to ribbons. Yeah, I would want to come back if I were him. But yeah, that blood thing, that really stands out. I think she's going to be a problem in the future.
Yeah, we think there's going to be like a more developed storyline for her.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that she hasn't died yet. Her sister is just gone. We don't know where she is. She's around, I guess.
Even the way they light her when she's on screen, how she has like a shadow over her face, where everyone else is like standing in bright window light. It's just really unsettling the way they're handling her. Yeah. And I don't think it's by accident.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with her. Again, I haven't read the comics. Maybe she's a character from the comics. Don't really know. But she's very interesting. One random character I have absolutely no sympathy for is the father who died.
Oh, with the son?
Stop with I just want to see his body for a few more minutes. Oh my God, he's eating me. They always do that, okay? You've survived this long, you gotta know he's gonna bite your neck off. And it's the thing that made it most horrible was the fact that he randomly shot the live girl. Yeah. That I hate when people accidentally die in movies. That made me dislike snakes on a plane. And so I didn't like that part of this episode. No, because they're like trampling through the plane and someone puts their high heel through someone's eye. It's like, that has nothing to do with snakes. Why is that even in there? But anyway, yes, I don't have any harsh or sympathy for the father in this case.
Yeah, some people are. We haven't finished making stupid decisions in this series.
But they're all
especially
dying
when
off.
you love someone.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So the question I was sort of getting to, now that the pestilence is over, do we even care what caused it? Because a lot of people are speculating that there was something in the water. That's why they were talking about cleaning the water tanks and spouts. That's that symbolism with Carol knocking over the drum of water. Like, do we even care at this point?
Or
Why
if it was the
people
pigs.
Yeah, or maybe
the pigs got it from the water.
Doesn't matter
I think
anymore.
it served its purpose. It changed the focus of the show for a little while. It allowed us to explore these very interesting ideas of isolation, even in this harsh world.
Being reminded.
I don't know
you're
that. I don't know that I
human.
care. Do you care?
No, probably not.
Okay. Well, let's
I think
move on.
it's a
Governor.
device it has worn out its use, and they're probably going to move on unless they go back, and we're all tricked by that, and we begin to hate it again.
I think that the big change that the show can make that would change things in a way that it hasn't changed over the past few seasons is we haven't yet had Rick's group go to a place like maybe they're going to when they track down the group from that radio message where they are no longer in charge, where they're under the control of an established authority. There's a bigger group that they're now integrating into. I don't know how they deal with that because they have different strategies of leadership and all that, and it doesn't seem to work for them, but they've always been in charge. And so what happens when they lose that power?
I love that taste of that we got in this past episode with Hershel in the prison when everything was going crazy around him. Because we saw the girl on the floor that was bleeding. We saw the guy in the bed that he was taking care of. We saw the guy upstairs, and it was like there's zombies, walkers everywhere. And like that was the first like moment that I felt like really, really tense this season.
I thought Hershel could die. I thought Daryl could die in that episode. I also thought that would be a fitting end for Hershel. Yeah. But they decided not to go that way. He already had a close call. I mean, he lost his leg or whatever. But yeah.
Some bitch.
Okay.
All right, that was the story of one tough sumbitch, Hershel, but we'll see how the story continues with the other tough sumbitch, the governor. We'll see you next time on the Walking It Reviews here on What the Flick.
Don't miss Spaghetti Tuesday on Wednesday.